What's up, beautiful people? This is Team FOExPPG's second place tech profile. As you guys can probably hear my voice, a little sick, so quick video. I want to talk about some tech I tried and what I'm not going to try for US Nats because it didn't work. So the big thing you'll see here is I went up to 51 cards. Mostly all I did was add in a golden Frieza and made room for two coolers main. The two cooler main was amazing. If you want to, I could see an argument for three. Cooler's a really cool card, basically to stop U7. One of the things to keep in mind is if you want to play Gohan, you have to keep in mind is Gohan's not the best deck in the format. It's not even the third best deck in the format. It's probably fourth. But it has a good matchup against all those decks, especially if it goes first. If it goes first, it's on par with all the rest. The difference is going second. I really like Gohan because it doesn't have a lot of like limit one abilities, minus of course uneasing and cooler, and so there's not a lot you have to keep track of, which is my biggest problem. I can't play U7. I tried to learn it. There's too many limit ones, and I don't have a tight enough play to keep track of which one I've used. So I don't want to misplay, so I don't play the deck. That's basically it. Going into Nats, I would argue that U7 is largely the best deck you have to be worried about. And then, of course, Android 21. And then, of course, now that we've seen it, Expert 21 as well. Those are three best decks if you're a good pilot. Anything else is going to be below those three. And so you have to have sideboard for other decks, but you need to have main board answers for those. So we'll talk about some of those things. Big thing here was Meta Cooler. I tried out. I got to play it against one time against U7, which is what it's there for. And this card was phenomenal. U7 really has struggles with going wide strategies. You don't want to go tall, you want to go wide. And so you get to play the Meta Cooler, discard a card, and then, draw two. Already some hand advantage, it replaces itself, and then the rest of the game it'll make advantage. But the bigger deal is the fact that you also get to play a token, and then when you make the token, it's a 15k as well. So you're getting two attacks, so they have to either basically discard a card or have like a super combo to get out of an attack. So they're going to lose card advantage. That was the whole theory behind it, so we ran it. This card right here was to deal Jiren, and as you saw in top four, you didn't really need it. Jiren struggles into Gohan due to our floodgates, so if you have floodgates, you don't really need the rest. And then obviously with removal, this deck removes a ton of cards, and if you're removing a lot of cards, Jiren kind of struggles because all of their cards don't have barrier, which is pretty problematic for them. Some things to talk about number-wise. I always wanted to cut Bursting Rage. Some of my friends recommended that we try out Cell Max. Cell Max would have been so much better in so many situations, but your worst matchup is U7. And if U7 is your worst matchup, you have to know how to beat the deck, and you have to kind of get lucky. And so one of those lucky things is Bursting Rage, because we can turn off the 6-drop and then become our Z leader. Whereas Cell Max, he's probably not going to do anything against that deck unless they're perfectly at 4 and they've tapped out, and you can be like, going for it, and they don't have a negate, right? So not as good in that deck. Vegeta and Trunks felt very scary. Especially in the U7. Like every time I went to play them, I was nervous. And then even the Green Mirror that I played, it didn't feel good to play this card because he just kept one up for Cell Max. And then, I went to 20, he went to 25, and he got rid of a random card from my hand, which was in fact a super combo because you have a small hand at the start of the game. So your odds of hitting a super combo are pretty high. So did not like that. You'll see here, I went down for... Okay, we should be good now. Sorry about that. So I went down on Brohan cards. I regret that this card was really solid throughout the weekend. In particular, I have it for U7. It's very nice because it's a 30k for one. That's what you need in the U7 matchup. Paying 2 for anything is very difficult. And what makes it better is, you have a built-in discard. Well, everyone has 4 Gohans or 4 Deborahs. But once you get through all 4, you start to discard cards. So the more of those effects you have early game, the better it can be. You'll see I added Charismatic Villain from Oceania. Just a huge oversight on my part. I should have played that card, but I am bad and make my deck sometimes incorrectly. You'll notice in the Z deck from Oceania, I don't think I was running Frieza two costs. I'm pretty sure I wasn't. I think I had two of this Goku. And if someone can check for me, but I don't remember. But anyway, this Frieza was very, very relevant. If you guys saw a lot of my games, I had no problem staying alive, but I had a lot of hard trouble killing my opponent. So like on turn 6, I had energy to spare, so it was nice to be like kill your battle card and then swing with my 8 drop, make you discard 2 cards. Like that was a lot more tempo I liked. My sideboard is kind of meant to face the best decks in the format. You'll notice I have a cooler for U7, Koitsukai, which I forgot to bring in versus Jared. Embarrassing for, I don't think I brought it in at all. This is for the mirror. Fusamasu was a cute little trick to try. It never comes up versus U7 because you very rarely ever have 2 energy available. But it is a main board or a sideboard answer to deal with the 6 drop. The idea was I'd play this against like hand control decks and then have a built-in draw, but it never was a situation where it was beneficial to cast the card. Jaren Survival of the Fittest, I never brought in successfully and mattered. I didn't realize Expert 21 could only play 5 costs or less, so I brought it in thinking he could play the 7 costs, and then he was like, I can't. And I was like, oh. Hunt of the Demon God is mostly there because I still am afraid of Gogeta. Same reason why Vegeta protecting his loved ones are here. I brought those in, obviously, versus him. Blue Impulse and Golden Frieza are really just for Jaren. The idea is that you go 2 energy, blow up their board on turn 2 if they, evolve something. It honestly feels terrible. So we need a better answer than this because they still draw 1 or 2 cards for evolving, and then you wipe their board and you lose all tempo. So yeah, like you stop your opponent, but like you didn't advance the board state. Besides that, I think it's just a generic green deck. Just keep that in mind is that I've been playing green the whole year, right? I played Crimson, and then I struggled without a deck until a Gohan came out, and then I tried not to play Gohan, and I had no good results. Where like I went to time with Maj and Vegeta. So just keep that in mind is that if you're gonna play green, you need to have the experience of playing green, because you're not playing the best deck. You're playing the best utility. That's not the same thing. Like I was telling my friends who haven't played in a while, just play U7. If you haven't played in a while, play U7 because if you run hot, like some of the players did for Latin America, the deck pilots itself. It's really nice. If I could find a way to play some of the cards that are U7 in this, I would. Like I'd be green, yellow, in a heartbeat if they let me, because the cards are that broken. Frieza majorly underperformed. I thought this would be a cool way to kill my opponents. And everyone's got time magic or negates. I don't think I ever got to kill somebody with this when it mattered. Like 3 life just doesn't happen. And you have enough double strike. So like it's not what we're trying to do. So like and you obviously don't ever want to play this for 3. Like doesn't feel good. The only thing cool about it is you're a dual attack and you got blocker. This is my SCR Overrealm of choice. I only run 1 Overrealm, but man, I love Secret ID. You saw why. Great into Jaren, great into blue. Wipes entire boards. I don't like the 30k that only warps 1 card. Like, no. You play Secret ID if you're going to play Gohan. I love it. This was a cute tech. This was to deal with Zamasu being under Android 21. In case you guys don't know, Android 21 decks like to make their blocker indestructible. So we get rid of that and kill it, which is very helpful in that matchup. But all I played against was U7 and Expert 21 and 1 Gohan. So like it was U7 tons. Oh, I played 1 Childhood Goku because it's Latin America. But yeah, it was a good event. I'll be honest. I think this is a solid list. It's not. I can tell you this. There are 13 cards that change in this list from where we're going to be. So you're not going to see me pilot this deck again. But I enjoyed playing it. Like I said, I have to have a different meta for US Nats because US Nats are just longer. So it's more about consistency. Consistency matters the most because it's not about being the best player at the end of the day. It's about having the most you didn't brick. I've went to 3 U.S. nationals. I've gotten third, top 32, and top 32 because of that consistency issue, and usually in the mirrors. Like they have a more consistent SCR or they have a better tool, and it bubbles me out. This year we have 520 players, so I don't want that to be the same thing where I bubble out again. I'd like to be 2-2 for gold cards this year for U.S. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's the deck. The big thing to keep in mind is this is what you play if you want to beat U7 right here, this cooler. Keep an energy up, and it really screws with their burn. But the biggest problem against U7 is if you go first, and that's where your best chance of dying is, and you drop your Unison, even if you awaken or you haven't awakened, even if you have an energy for a floodgate, if they play their 6 drop and they already have several amounts of Z energy, and you don't have Frieza, you can die very easily. That deck can generate Z energy really quick, and if they're playing the better build, which is playing the U7, you should be playing the U7 super combo. I get why people are playing the yellow one because of Jaren and aggro, but you're not helping yourself any. Like just wait till you're at 5 to use the card. Um, but that build, with 2 floodgates, you still can die, and that's the scariest turn playing Gohan. And like every time, it just felt terrible. And so that's what we're gonna try to solve because it feels really bad that they can just play 1 card and you can lose the game on turn 3. So just keep that in mind. And last but not least, what was really cool is just Cooler was great. I really love Cooler. This is somehow as a 2, but man, this card just continues to be overwhelming with this Brawly. Ironically, this didn't come up. I like having this gigantic meteor. I could definitely see an argument in the current meta. You don't usually attack, and we're going like faster. So I could see this being the limit Ultra Kamehameha instead, because you're not usually attacking a battle card, which is the purpose of like there's a combo between Brawly and this. I think it's time to let that die, and we just bring out a second copy of this because there's many times where I wish I had this. Like this is always a better card. You can make a lot of Z energy in this deck because every time your Gohan attacks, you get to make one for free. So, not counting defense and all the other stuff. So, enjoy the deck. It is still my favorite deck to play.